That's probably loud. Hey, Florida mom. How are you? I'm going to play something in a second when a couple people get in here, just to see if you guys can hear this with me muted or not. So, hey, Mama. Trish. All right, I'm going to mute myself for 1 second, and then I'm going to hit play on something, and you guys just type in the chat yes if you can hear it, okay? Garth Brooks filed a lawsuit before Jane Roe filed. This lawsuit was filed on September 13th, 2024. Did you hear it? You finally have power. Yay. Good to know. Good. Yes, you can. Oh, wow. That's great. Good. All right. I'm going to put this way up here. All right. So we did the whole, the whole lawsuit. It's long. And when I tell you it is graphic, oh my. It's graphic. It's low for you, though? Okay. Huh. All right. I'm going to try to turn it up over here. Boop. And then maybe, well, I don't know why I'd have to turn it up on my end like this. All right. I'll try one more time. Oh, Gemini, it is. I don't know what I believe. I don't. Jump it right now. I can't. I mean, of course, I don't want to believe it, but I don't know. What do you do? All right, I'm going to mute again and try to, let's see if you can hear it. Hold on. Court has subject matter jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C. Section 1332. Was that any louder? For sure. Just like with any other case, you have to. It's innocent until proven guilty, of course. But at the same time, it is a sexual assault victim. So you have to, or accuser, you have to be careful with those things. So it is better. Okay. I don't believe it. Yeah, okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you've read the lawsuit. If you haven't, you just be prepared. Okay. You haven't heard much. Okay. Oof. Oh my God. After Johnny Depp, I don't believe nothing. I don't blame you. But this is rough. She was quite graphic. Very graphic in the things that she said. I was actually shocked. Like, wait, what? What? But you never know. You never know what to believe or what not to believe, Here's another thing. What do you guys think about the Menendez brothers? She didn't go to the police. She wanted money. Therefore, I called BS. I put his information in here as well, what he had to say about everything. So we'll go over that as well. But Lord, no, Trisha hasn't gone anywhere. And she's Trisha's hairdresser since like 90 something. And she was Trisha's hairdresser. Then she became Garth's hairdresser as well. So Bieber's bio. Oof, yikes. She did. Yeah, she did, which is crazy, right? But do you guys everybody in the world knows about the Menendez brothers, but they're going to be having a hearing in November. I think you're right. The Menendez brother case, yeah. I think you're right. I mean, it was tried twice. But the craziest part of the whole thing, it was tried once, right? and then it was a hung jury. So they tried it again and didn't let any of the abuse allegations in at all. And they tried them together instead of separate, or separate instead of together, one or the other. But what the hell? They didn't. So what was their defense? And they didn't have the media there for the second one. So we don't even know what the hell happened. There are transcripts out there, though. But I was thinking of playing the first trial because I listened to opening statements today in the first trial while I was working. Oh my God. It was really very, both sides were extremely aggressive, the lawyers and the judge, too. The judge was kind of rude. Shit. When is she alleging that all of this happened? I'm about to play it. She's saying that it happened over a course of a few years. Together, separate juries, yeah. They shouldn't be in jail. Together, separate, all those allegations of abuse. Of course. What the hell? Probably. Well, so if you remember Menudo, that Menudo band, one of them came forward. Also, too, have you guys heard what Rosie O'Donnell said? Mother shit. I listened to this the other day. I was friggin' disgusted with what she had to say on this. Hold on. You do. She realized she ratted him out when it's such a mess. Hold on. She said it on her TikTok. I was pissed. Hold on. Let me see if this is it. No, this isn't it. Hold on. Rosie, you actually get on my nerves, okay? After you said this dumb shit, I watched it on my phone, and it was a while ago. Was it this one? No. Maybe this one. Nope, not this one. I'll find it. But I was really, really pissed off when I read it. She said she knew, and that one of the brothers, I'll find it. And when we do the trial, I'll put it up. Rosie O'Donnell said she knew that one of the brothers called her and said, I need to talk to you because I know you know. And she said, and he's right. I did know. He's right. But it was, it was a time where they don't believe boys. So, bitch, what? What? You knew that they were being molested, but because nobody would believe them, you just decided to stay quiet. Like, are you out of your whole damn mind, lady? Seriously? Oh, Gemini, it was so fucking frustrating. Now I want to find it. Hold on. I was so pissed off when she said it. I'm like, wait, what? Why? Why the fuck are you saying this now? Don't you think it's a little late? And I don't even understand why they forgave her. Like, it was so frustrating. Let me see. Somebody replied to her. I don't know who you are, but whatever. Now I want to find. You saw it, right? She's known them forever, Dina. And one of them called and said, I know you know and I need to talk to you. And she said, he was right. It's true. I did know. And I'm like, what? So you knew and you didn't say shit and you let them go through all of this? Oh, last nerve. Rosie O'Donnell. Menendez brother video. This is good. It's this one. It's this one. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna share this with you guys. It's seriously. It was so frustrating when I listened to this. So share a tab or a screen instead. Okay, hold on. Let me put it over here and share this here. All right, let me know if you can hear it fine, okay? Or if there's an echo, let me know.
I know you know. And I hoped we could connect. And he was right. I did know that they were innocent. Okay, so what do you think about the Menendez brothers? I got a little story to tell. In 1996, Lyle sent me a letter. Basically said, I know you know. And I hoped we could connect. And he was right. I did know that they were innocent. I did know that those were boys who had been incested. And why I knew and how I knew, Lyle also knew. I didn't write him back because I felt afraid and I wasn't ready to touch the subject. And, it was 1996. So now I see the new documentary where Roy Rosella from Menudo said that he too was sexually abused and raped by Jose Menendez, and that he bled rectally afterward. In 96.
Oh my God. I'm so frustrated. As you can see, 3 days ago, I left a comment. But are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? So, well, here's the thing, though, Gemini. Because one of them confronted the dad, they thought that the dad was going to do something to them. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, right? But all those years of whatever was going on, and with one of them, it was still going on, allegedly, they did what they did. Okay. Had people like Rosie or other adults who knew come forward, maybe they wouldn't be in prison for the rest of their lives. I don't know. But how do you say, yeah, you're right, I knew, and I didn't do anything about it? You did nothing? What? I mean, so she knew prior to them killing and going to prison, or what? Like, what are you talking about exactly? Oh, it's so gross. She makes me so angry right now.
In the late 80s, people weren't ready to accept the fact that boys too get raped, sometimes by their fathers. And as a culture, we ridiculed them. Jokes about them on Saturday Night Live, jokes from Jay Leno every night. Everyone thought this was a funny target. Two kids who had been molested since the age of preschool, fighting back and standing up, and people thought they just wanted the money. They had the money. They didn't need the money. Money was not what it was about. So now it's 30 years later. I see the documentary and I leave a little TikTok and I get a phone call It's Lyle's wife, Rebecca, and she wants to know if it would be okay if he called me. And I said yes, and he did. And we have been talking and sharing and becoming very close, and his wife is amazing, a 25-year relationship that they kept open and growing and thriving in those horrific circumstances. Both Lyle and Eric have amazing prison records with what they've done with their time and how they've spent their 30 plus years in jail. So we believe them now because of Roy from Menudo? Do we believe now because of the letter that Eric sent his cousin 8 months before the murder? Yeah, it's time. I believe them. They were horribly abused by their parents. They did the unthinkable, which had been done to them day after day after day. And they paid the price for that. The price would have been 10 years each victim, plus possibly a gun charge, maybe 25, 27 years. They've been in longer than that. Free the Menendez brothers. Free the Menendez brothers.
Okay. I can't stand her. Okay. Because she's like, oh, so now we believe them. Now do you believe them because the Menudo kid came forward? Well, you knew before he knew. So do you now believe? Like, what are you even talking about? Anyway, November 29th of this year, 2024, they're supposed to be giving them a hearing. So we're going to see. Yeah, Rosie's the new shut the fuck up. Let me stop. Jesus Lord. Okay. So what we're here for, though, are the accusations against Garth Brooks, which, oh, my goodness gracious. I can't with these. They're rough. They're so rough. And if you haven't heard them, you just take care of yourself. Get out of the chat if you don't want to hear them. I know a lot of people are like, I don't believe her. She's just looking for money. But you never know what could be triggering. So I'm going to press play and we're going to listen. Okay. Because complete diversity of citizenship exists between the parties, and the amount in controversy exceeds the sum of $75,000 exclusive of interest and costs. Venue is proper under 28 U.S.C. Section 1391 because defendant resides in this judicial district and division. Facts. Plaintiff is a celebrity and public figure who resides in Tennessee. Sixth defendant worked professionally with plaintiff as an independent contractor for approximately 15 years before she relocated from Tennessee to Mississippi in May 2020. Soon after moving to Mississippi, defendant encountered financial difficulties and asked plaintiff for financial assistance. Plaintiff complied out of loyalty, friendship, and a desire to improve defendant's condition. But defendant's demands for financial assistance only increased, with defendant ultimately asking plaintiff for salaried employment and medical benefits. When plaintiff advised he could not agree to defendant's demands for salaried employment and medical benefits, she responded with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct she claims occurred years ago. Specifically, on July 17th, 2024, an attorney acting at defendant's direction sent plaintiff and others with whom plaintiff professionally works an ostensibly confidential demand letter alleging a litany of sexual misconduct by plaintiff, ranging from allegations of sexual grooming, creation of a sexually hostile work environment, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual assault. Defendant also alleged a belief that plaintiff planned to hire someone to murder her. The July 17th demand letter was the first time plaintiff learned of these allegations, none of which has any basis. Defendant threatened in the July 17th demand letter to publicly file an enclosed draft civil complaint against plaintiff, repeating the same fabricated allegations, unless plaintiff agreed to pay defendant millions of dollars not to file the suit. The letter referred to various celebrity sexual misconduct lawsuits, featuring multi-million-dollar jury awards. In a follow-up letter dated August 23rd, 2024, defendant, through her attorney, offered to refrain from publicly filing her false and defamatory lawsuit against plaintiff in exchange for a multi-million-dollar payment. She threatened that if plaintiff failed to meet this demand, he would face exposure of many millions of dollars based on his net worth. Defendant's allegations are not true. The defendant is well aware, however, of the substantial, irreparable damage such false allegations would do to plaintiff's well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, along with the unavoidable damage to his family and the irreparable damage to his career and livelihood that would result if she made good on her threat to publicly file her fabricated lawsuit. Indeed, such knowledge no doubt explains why defendant threatened to file suit through a confidential demand letter rather than simply filing suit to redress her alleged but untrue injuries. Claims for relief. Defendant's publication of such false allegations and her threat to file a lawsuit, more widely publicizing such false allegations against plaintiff, has given rise to a justiciable controversy between the parties entitling plaintiff to a declaratory judgment pursuant to 28 U.S.C. Section 2201 that defendant's allegations of sexual misconduct are untrue. Defendant's false allegations and her threats to wrongfully assassinate plaintiff's character through the public airing of such revulsive and untrue allegations have caused plaintiff emotional distress, including anxiety and fear for himself and his family. Defendant's attempted extortion of plaintiff for millions of dollars through such untrue, lewd allegations constitutes intentional, outrageous conduct that was intended to, and did, in fact, cause plaintiff serious mental injury, amounting to an intentional infliction of emotional distress for which plaintiff is entitled to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Defendant has defamed plaintiff by intentionally publishing her July 17th letter and enclosed draft complaint containing these false allegations of sexual misconduct to persons other than plaintiff. The defendant intentionally published these statements to others with the knowledge that the statements were false and defamatory. Defendant's publication of these defamatory statements was not privileged, but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from plaintiff. Defendant's intentional defamation of plaintiff entitles plaintiff to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Defendant's malicious publication of her false allegations of sexual misconduct also placed plaintiff in a false light that would be highly offensive to any reasonable person. Defendant intentionally published these statements with knowledge of their falsity and with knowledge of the false light in which the statements would place plaintiff. Defendant's publication of these false allegations was not privileged, but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper purpose of extorting an unwarranted payment from plaintiff. Defendant's intentional false light invasion of privacy entitles plaintiff to recover compensatory and punitive damages. Plaintiff is also entitled to preliminary and permanent injunctive relief, prohibiting defendant from continuing her attempted extortion, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy, and from making good on her threats to more widely publicize her false allegations against plaintiff. Plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm to his reputation, his family, and his career and livelihood if defendant is not so enjoined. Monetary damages cannot adequately compensate plaintiff for these injuries. Defendant will suffer no hardship from an injunction of her wrongful conduct, while plaintiff will suffer irreparable harm if no injunction is issued. Finally, the public interest will not be disturbed by the requested injunction because the public has no interest in furthering defendant's extortionate scheme through the publication of her false and salacious allegations. Accordingly, plaintiff requests that the court award him the following relief. A. A declaratory judgment that defendant's allegations against him of sexual misconduct are untrue. B. Compensatory damages proximately caused by defendant's intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy, including incidental and consequential damages. C. Punitive damages in an amount sufficient to deter similar future behavior. D. Preliminary and permanent injunctive relief, prohibiting defendant from continuing her extortionate behavior and from further publicizing her false allegations against plaintiff. E. Plaintiff's reasonable costs and attorney's fees. F. Prejudgment and post-judgment interest. And G. Such other relief as the court deems appropriate. Plaintiff demands a trial by jury. Dated September 13th, 2024. Brooks claims he received 2 letters. He alleges that he was met with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct in a confidential demand letter from her attorney on July 17th. Then claims in his complaint that he received a follow-up letter from his accuser on August 23rd, offering to refrain from filing a suit against him in exchange for a multi-million-dollar compensation. By not complying, the accuser, according to Brooks, was aware of how filing a lawsuit publicly would affect his career and livelihood, and she attempted to exploit that information for her own gain. Filing by Jane Roe. Plaintiff. Jane Roe, plaintiff or Ms. Roe, hereby submits her complaint against defendant Garth Brooks, defendant or Brooks, and alleges as follows. Preliminary statement. 1. In 1999, plaintiff was hired to do the makeup and hairstyling for the Grammy award-winning artist Trisha Yearwood. Ms. Roe continued to work for Ms. Yearwood over the years, as well as for many other celebrities, and in 2017 she started to do makeup and hairstyling for Garth Brooks, Ms. Yearwood's husband. 2. By 2019, after Brooks learned that Ms. Roe was experiencing financial difficulties, he hired Ms. Roe more often. She was grateful for the additional income and thanked him repeatedly. 3. It did not take long for Brooks to take advantage of her financial hardship. Brooks seized what he saw as an opportunity to subject a female employee to a side of Brooks that he conceals from the public. This side of Brooks believes he is entitled to sexual gratification when he wants it, and using a female employee to get it is fair game. 4. One day in 2019, when Ms. Roe was at Brooks' house to style his hair and do his makeup, she looked up in horror as Brooks walked out of the shower, naked, with an erection, and pointing his penis at Ms. Roe, came directly toward her. He grabbed her hands and forced them onto his erect penis. Brooks appallingly told Ms. Roe that he had fantasized about this moment and wanted her to perform oral sex on him so that he could come all over her face, specifically while she had her glasses on. 5. Shocked and confused, Ms. Roe pulled back and said she was not going to do what he wanted. Knowing that she needed the work, however, Brooks correctly predicted that Ms. Roe did not leave. 6. In May 2019, Brooks asked her to travel to Los Angeles with him for a Grammy tribute to Sam Moore. Usually there were others on Brooks' private jet, but this time Ms. Roe and Brooks were the only 2 passengers. Once in Los Angeles at the hotel, Ms. Roe could not believe that Brooks had booked a hotel suite with 1 bedroom, and she did not have a separate room. After they arrived, suddenly Brooks appeared in the doorway to the bedroom, completely naked. He stood there and flexed his muscles. Ms. Roe immediately had a sick feeling in her stomach, knowing she was trapped in the room alone with Brooks, with no one to help and far away from Nashville. Tragically, her worst fears came true when seconds later he was towering over her, his 6-foot and almost 300-pound frame ready to pounce on Ms. Roe, who is less than 5 feet and 100 pounds. As she began to panic, he grabbed her hands and pulled her into the next room and onto the bed where she could not escape his physical domination. 8. Brooks' rape of Ms. Roe was painful and traumatic. Having no regard for her well-being and intent on his own sexual gratification at the expense of Ms. Roe's physical, mental, and emotional trauma, at some point during the nightmare, Brooks even held her small body upside down by her feet and penetrated her. 9. She was helpless to move from his grip and terrified at what was happening to her. While he held her upside down, dangling by her ankles, all the blood rushed to her head, causing her to be dizzy and sick. While Brooks forcefully penetrated her, he said perverted things to Ms. Roe about his sexual prowess. 10. Brooks also repeatedly slammed his penis into her vagina, causing Ms. Roe's back to keep hitting his body over and over with such force she felt as if he was breaking her in two. Disgustingly, Brooks insisted that Ms. Roe wear her eyeglasses while he carried out his sexual assault fantasy. 11. With cold disregard for Ms. Roe, when Brooks was finished, it was business as usual. Ms. Roe worked quickly to style his hair and do his makeup for the event, so he was on time. 12. Brooks subjected Ms. Roe to other appalling sexual conduct, all of which took place while Ms. Roe was working for him. That includes, but is not limited to, the following. Brooks openly talked about sexual subjects in front of Ms. Roe, including, for example, cunnilingus. Brooks regularly changed his clothing in front of Ms. Roe and often purposefully exposed his genitals and buttocks to Ms. Roe, knowing that she would respond with a look of horror and disgust. Brooks repeated the sexual fantasy, he said, when he came out of the shower with an erection and forced her hands on his penis to Ms. Roe and forced her to listen to other sexual fantasies he had about her performing sexual acts on him. Brooks sent Ms. Roe sexually explicit text messages and pressured her to engage in sexting with him. After the sexual assault in Los Angeles, Brooks increased the frequency of saying his sexual fantasies about her aloud, along with his physical gropings of her breasts while she was doing his hair and makeup. Other sexually explicit remarks by Brooks included him telling Ms. Roe that he had fucked multiple women in every corner of a hotel room, white, black, brown, or whatever, and also said that he had done so on every surface in a hotel room. Brooks's increased frequency of his sexually charged conversations included his repeated remarks about having a threesome with his wife, Ms. Yearwood, in which he suggested that Ms. Roe would be the third person, which Ms. Roe believes Brooks's wife overheard on at least one occasion. On too many occasions to list, Brooks would lasciviously stare at Ms. Roe's breasts and pressure Ms. Roe to open her shirt to allow him to physically touch her breasts for purposes of his arousal, after which Brooks would then masturbate. And regarding this, Brooks, who said he would take care of himself, also told Ms. Roe he could not let her see because, when I come, it's gallons. In late October 2019, Brooks brought Ms. Roe to Los Angeles for 5 days, during which he physically groped her body, including her breasts. Ms. Roe was terrified to be in a hotel again, worried that he would force himself on her. Her fears were justified, as one morning when Ms. Roe went to Brooks' room to do his hair and makeup, he was on the bed, face down, wearing loose shorts and holding his crotch, and made it clear that he wanted to do what he had done before in Los Angeles with Ms. Roe on May 11th. Ms. Roe managed to escape the situation because he was running late and people were waiting to pick him up. At times, Brooks implied the groping of her breasts would continue, despite Ms. Roe insisting this was unwanted. For example, one time when he said while groping her, "Next time we mess around," and Ms. Roe clearly said, "No," he became visibly angry at Ms. Roe and left. The frequency was such that it was inevitable that other employees of Brooks's likely saw or heard instances of the unwanted physical groping of her breasts while she was styling his hair and doing his makeup. In or about May 2020, Brooks, while speaking to his manager and with his wife also present, directly in front of Ms. Rowe, talked about inventing a shampoo bottle that would double as a dildo. When Ms. Rowe became uncomfortable and would not join in the conversation, Brooks became upset and slammed his fist down on the kitchen counter in frustration so hard that items on the counter moved, and he leaned in and spoke in a threatening manner to Ms. Rowe. Following this incident, Ms. Rowe sent a text to Brooks. I have thought a lot about the conversation of last Monday. I can't work in an environment where explicit sexual comments are made about shampoo bottles doubling as dildos. I mean you no harm, and if you truly value my work, I am happy to show up tomorrow and or whenever you may need my services. 13. During phone conversations in 2020, after she told Brooks that she was upset, he told his wife that Ms. Rowe had seen his penis. Brooks tried to minimize what happened and said, "Oh, sweetheart, for one, I think I know Trisha pretty well and she wasn't uncomfortable. And I said you saw my stuff. That was it. We were talking about something and it just came up. Look, I'm worried you are overthinking this." 14. After the sexual assault in Los Angeles, Brooks told Ms. Rowe about a mysterious text message he received in which a person claimed that Brooks had ruined his life. In a phone conversation about this text, Brooks said he had no idea who had texted him the message and suggested that he thought it was Ms. Rowe's husband who had sent the text and tried to get her to reveal her husband's phone number. 15. Brooks told Ms. Rowe, I never want to hurt anybody, so that one, the mysterious text. It bothered me. It bothered me. I didn't know the number. 16. Still referring to the supposed text message, Brooks also said, and that killed me. It broke my heart. Like God, I never want to hurt anybody. So I was scared to death. Brooks then started to talk about the fact that Ms. Rowe had not worked for Brooks for several months, so he had one of his employees call her to see what was happening. And then, when they called you for work and you couldn't do it for 2 months, I thought, oh, crap. That's what I thought. Oh, crap. So I was trying to seek you out to come talk or whatever I needed to do, but I don't want to hurt anybody, man. And I just felt bad. 17. Of course, Brooks knew that the sexual assault and rape that he had subjected Ms. Rowe to in Los Angeles was bad. And further, she had told him about the severe back and neck pain she was experiencing. 18. Concerned about the repercussions if she denied him the ability to sexually force himself on her again, Ms. Rowe said on a call to Brooks in 2020, I want to make sure that even though I've told you no, that you're cool with no. I mean no as in no fooling around like we had done. You are cool with that, right? 19. She was fearful that despite what he said, that Brooks was angry and upset with her. Ms. Rowe said, when I saw you with another music artist, you were pretty upset with me. Incredibly, Brooks replied as follows, no, I would never be upset with you. Look at it this way, okay? Look at it. The best way I can explain it is, me and you broke into a jewelry store, and the second we broke the door, we looked at each other and said, this isn't right. But we already had broken the door. And so I think me and you get out and run and just hope that nobody ever finds out and just love one another and be friends. Is that fair? 20. Brooks told her in 2020, I work with the best. And I don't want to do something stupid that breaks this team up. So I will do whatever I need to do or do whatever I don't need to do. But I just want to keep working with you. But if you feel weird working with me, it's fine. We don't have to work together. 21st. In response, Ms. Rowe said, I've never found myself in a situation that is, I just don't know that I'm going to be able to look up from. And I am a little frightened of you. I really am. 22. Brooks said, "Sweet baby, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine. That makes me frightened of you." 23rd. In this phone conversation, Ms. Rowe explains that it would be difficult to work with Brooks again, to which Brooks said, "I am asking you to work together forever, and you have a place here as long as you want it. I'm lucky to have you. I don't want this to go anywhere, and I don't want something that happened in the moment to screw the whole 20 years I've known you." 24. In addition to phone calls, there were multiple text exchanges between Brooks and Ms. Rowe, but while Ms. Rowe was at a studio with Brooks to style his hair in 2020, Brooks surreptitiously took her phone and deleted most of the text messages that he had sent to her containing explicit sexual content. 25. Eventually, Ms. Rowe was unable to continue working for Brooks, and she sought legal counsel about what had happened. In addition, in or about May 2021, Ms. Rowe moved to Mississippi. 26. When Ms. Rowe's counsel contacted Brooks and disclosed the fact that Ms. Rowe was prepared to file a complaint in California to hold him accountable for his sexual assaults, and even shared a copy of the drafted California complaint with Brooks, he used the fact that Ms. Rowe had dared to speak about the harm he forced on her as an opportunity to inflict even more harm and pain on Ms. Rowe. 27. Specifically, while pretending to be in discussions with Ms. Rowe to resolve her legal claims against him, on September 13th, 2024, Brooks filed a preemptive abusive complaint against Miss Rowe under the Declaratory Judgment Act in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, Northern Division, entitled John Doe vs. Jane Roe, case number 24, Civil 00547, HTW, LGI. Hereinafter, the abusive Mississippi action. 28. Incredibly, in the abusive Mississippi action, Brooks labeled himself the victim and claimed that Ms. Rowe was a lying extortionist who intended on destroying his professional reputation. Brooks alleged that she threatened to file her complaint in California only because Brooks refused to give her a raise and pay for health insurance. 29. The abusive Mississippi action by Brooks is a blatant attempt to further control and bully his sexual assault victim by utilizing his multimillionaire resources to game the legal system. 30. As part of the lawsuit he filed against Ms. Rowe in desperation, Brooks simultaneously filed a motion to proceed under the pseudonym John Doe. The basis for this, as described by Brooks, was because he has a well-earned reputation as a decent and caring person, and therefore, if the sexual assault allegations are disclosed, he says it would create unavoidable damage to his family. 31. Brooks is desperate to prevent his millions of fans from learning about the horrific things he has said and done to a junior female employee who did nothing to deserve such treatment. 32. But our legal system is not in place to allow wealthy wrongdoers the ability to run workarounds on sexual assault victims who attempt to hold perpetrators accountable. Yet, this is precisely what Brooks is trying to do in the abusive Mississippi action. 33rd. As set forth below, Ms. Rowe commences this action pursuant to California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, AB 2777, because her claims are based on conduct that occurred on or after January 1st, 2009, and are commenced after January 1st, 2019. See California Code Civil Proceedings, Section 340.16b3. Ms. Rowe seeks all appropriate relief. Facts common to all causes of action. Background: Garth Brooks. At age 62, Garth Brooks is a two-time Grammy winner and has sold more than 162 million albums, making him the second best-selling artist of all time in the U.S., second only to the Beatles in total albums sold. His estimated net worth is about $400 million, and Forbes estimated that he made $45.5 million in 2018 alone. When he is not recording music and selling it, Brooks is involved in numerous foundations and charities, including many dedicated to children. For example, he founded the Garth Brooks Teammates for Kids Foundation, which, in partnership with professional athletes, corporations, and other celebrities, helps children by funding and supporting programs in hospitals, sports for inner city children, and educational opportunities. In addition, Brooks is involved in Habitat for Humanity, the Carter Work Project 3, in which he and his wife were named the inaugural Habitat humanitarians, alongside President Jimmy Carter and former First Lady Rosalind Carter. In connection with this charitable work, Brooks has publicly said that when I think of home, it is that safe place. One of those things that you don't really think about every day if you have always had a place to live. The thing that I have learned through volunteering with Habitat is everybody doesn't have a roof over their head. But what I love about Habitat is that it provides that basic first step that creates a haven and a safe place. Brooks' wife, Ms. Yearwood, has publicly said about Brooks' volunteer work with Habitat for Humanity the following: with Garth, generous is the word that comes to mind. He really takes joy in helping others. I think Habitat fits him perfectly because it gives him a chance to do all the things that he is just so good at naturally. Brooks, through his foundation, built a playroom inside UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital that he said the following about: this is a child life zone, and what I love about child life zones is it's the one place in the hospital that doctors are not allowed. If you've got a child that needs care, what happens to the brothers and sisters? Well, they come down here and they get to be brothers and sisters together here. Brooks helped to build more than 15 children life zones in hospitals across the country. Helping children and building houses are not the only charities Brooks has dedicated resources to. He also helps support cancer research, has held concerts to fundraise for public television stations, such as Austin PBS, and even made a surprise appearance at the Nashville Unlimited Christmas concert, held at Christ Church Cathedral to benefit a nonprofit in Nashville. In 2024, Brooks performed on Mother's Day at the Vatican as part of the World Meeting on Human Fraternity, organized under the theme of Number Be Human in the atrium of St. Peter's Basilica. In connection with his performance at President Biden's 2021 inauguration, Brooks said it was about reaching across and loving one another. Brooks devotes countless hours and resources to showing the public this side of himself. Brooks wants his fans to believe that this charitable person is who he is on stage and off. As these allegations demonstrate, there is nothing loving, safe, or charitable about what Brooks subjected Ms. Roe. Background: Ms. Roe. Ms. Roe is a professional makeup artist and hairstylist who has worked in the music industry for more than 30 years. Her work garnered her a loyal list of clients, many of whom are household names. Through her hard work, skill, and dedication, Ms. Roe has performed the hair styling and makeup for celebrities appearing in countless publications, such as Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, In Style, Esquire, and Nash Magazine. Additionally, she has received numerous credits in advertising campaigns involving top celebrities and brands, and for her work in television commercials and films. Throughout her career, Ms. Roe has collaborated with many of the top professional photographers in the world. Unfortunately, in late 2018, the pressure on Ms. Roe to provide financial support for her family increased, and she needed to take on as much work as she could handle. Ms. Roe shared her financial challenges with Brooks and his wife. Brooks preys on Ms. Roe's hardship. As part of her work for Brooks, Ms. Roe traveled to stadiums for concerts, such as to Notre Dame as part of his tour in October 2018, and to studios for filming for commercials and interviews, such as in December 2018 to New York City for the CBS Morning Show. She often performed work for him at the home he shared with his wife. Brooks intentionally fondled, grabbed, and kissed his wife in close physical proximity to Ms. Roe in a way that made Ms. Roe feel extremely uncomfortable. In addition, Brooks would tell Ms. Roe that he thought it was hot to see his wife be with another woman sexually, and implied that she could be the other woman. Although it was disturbing, she did not respond to these suggestions. Ms. Roe had worked for Ms. Yearwood since 1999 and worried that Ms. Yearwood would hear things he was saying to Ms. Roe and be upset with her, even though, of course, such behavior was initiated by Brooks. For example, Brooks openly talked about sexual subjects in front of Ms. Roe, including cunnilingus. Brooks regularly changed his clothing in front of Ms. Roe and often purposefully exposed his genitals and buttocks to Ms. Roe, knowing that she would respond with a look of horror and disgust. In 2019, when she was at Brooks's home to do his hair and makeup, Ms. Roe set up her supplies in his bathroom as usual. But while she was setting up, Brooks started taking a shower in front of her, then came out naked with an erection pointing directly at Ms. Roe, his erect penis. In shock, before she knew what to do, he grabbed her hands and forced them onto his penis. Disgustingly, Brooks said that he wanted her to go down on him, and he said he had fantasies of her going down on him with her glasses on, and him ejaculating all over her face. After this event, Brooks continued to repeat this particular sexual fantasy to Ms. Roe, as well as other fantasies he had about her. Brooks sent Ms. Roe sexually explicit text messages and pressured her to engage in sexting with him. On too many occasions to list, Brooks would lasciviously stare at Ms. Roe's breasts and pressure Ms. Roe to open her shirt to allow him to physically touch her breasts for purposes of his arousal, after which would then masturbate. Regarding this arousal conduct, Brooks said he would take care of himself, meaning masturbate until orgasm, and also told Ms. Roe he could not let her watch, because, when I come, it's gallons. Other sexually explicit remarks by Brooks included him telling Ms. Roe that he had fucked multiple women in every corner of a hotel room, white, black, brown, or whatever, and also said that he had done so on every surface in a hotel room. Sexual assaults in California. On April 30th to May 1st, 2019, Ms. Roe traveled to San Francisco with Brooks to do his makeup and hairstyling for an event. On May 11th, 2019, Brooks asked her to work in Los Angeles for a tribute show for Sam Moore. They left in the early morning hours from Nashville and arrived in Los Angeles and went directly to the hotel. They were the only two passengers on his private jet, which was unusual. Once in Los Angeles at the hotel, Ms. Roe was shocked to learn that he had booked only one hotel room, and she did not have a separate room. When she dared to ask if she could have a separate room, Brooks said, no. Brooks wanted her isolated and alone because he knew exactly what he was going. No other employees were on this trip for the same reason. Brooks planned his attack well in advance. Suddenly, to her horror, Brooks was standing in the doorway to the bedroom without any clothes on. Brooks' fantasy about sexually violating Ms. Roe while she had her glasses on was about to happen. Brooks grabbed her hands and pulled her into the other room and onto the bed. Ms. Roe, less than 5 feet and about 100 pounds, was no physical match for Brooks, who is 6 feet, weighs almost 300 pounds, and regularly lifts weights. Brooks' rape of Ms. Roe was painful and traumatic. Having no regard for her well-being and intent on his own sexual gratification at the expense of Ms. Roe's physical, mental, and emotional trauma, at some point during the nightmare, Brooks even held her small body upside down by her feet and penetrated her. She was helpless to move from his grip and terrified at what was happening to her. While he held her upside down, dangling by her ankles, all the blood rushed to her head, causing her to be dizzy and sick. Brooks said perverted things to Ms. Roe about his sexual prowess. Brooks also repeatedly slammed his penis into her vagina, causing Ms. Roe's back to hit his body over and over with such force she felt as if he was breaking her in two. Brooks insisted that Ms. Roe wear her eyeglasses while he carried out his sexual assault fantasy, demonstrating that he had thought about doing this far in advance of the May 11th, 2019 trip to Los Angeles. Knowing exactly what he was doing and the pain he was forcing her to endure against her will, at one point, Brooks even said to Ms. Roe that he knew he was hurting her. Disgustingly, this only caused him to drop her from the upside-down position and forced her over to a small love seat where, after placing her face down, Brooks engaged in other acts too graphic to include in this complaint. She was terrified. With cold disregard for Ms. Roe, when Brooks was finished, it was business as usual for Brooks, and Ms. Roe worked quickly to style his hair and do his makeup for the event. Ms. Roe was physically ill and already in pain by the time they flew back to Nashville. In fact, a migraine had already started. In the weeks after this horrific violence, Ms. Roe experienced debilitating pain in her neck and lower back, which she sought medical treatment for. In addition, she had to seek treatment from her OBGYN for damage Brooks caused during the Los Angeles rape. Sadly, during the summer of 2019, the trauma from Brooks's rape became so unbearable for Ms. Roe that she planned to commit suicide. She felt hopeless and did not see how she would move past what had happened. Fortunately, she did not act on her thoughts and managed to continue to keep showing up and earning money to support her family. She knew that she could not say anything to Brooks or anyone who worked for him about what he had done. This is why, when Brooks asked her to work with him at another job in Los Angeles, she still agreed to go. On October 28th, 2019, Brooks had Ms. Roe travel with him back to California for 5 days of work. On this trip back to Los Angeles for 5 days, Ms. Roe was terrified to be in a hotel room with him again, worried that he would force himself on her. Fortunately, other employees were on the trip and in close proximity within the hotel. However, this did not stop Brooks from repeatedly squeezing, touching, and groping her breasts anytime he could. Brooks even made Ms. Roe open her shirt to expose her breasts to him, for this purpose of his own sexual gratification. Her fears that he would subject her to unwanted sex were justified as one morning when Ms. Roe went to Brooks's room to do his hair and makeup. He was on the bed, face down, wearing loose shorts and holding his crotch. The way he looked at her, Ms. Roe understood he was making it clear that he wanted to do what he had done on May 11th. She narrowly escaped another sexual assault because he was running late and other people were waiting to pick him up. Brooks did not hide that he was angry and upset with Ms. Roe for not allowing him to sexually violate her. After the sexual assault and rape in Los Angeles, Brooks increased the frequency of saying his sexual fantasies about her aloud, along with his physical gropings of her breasts against her will. Disgustingly, he often forced her to do this while she was styling his hair and doing his makeup. At times, Brooks implied the groping would continue, despite Ms. Roe insisting this was unwanted. For example, one time when he said, while groping her, "Next time we mess around," and Ms. Roe clearly said no, he became visibly angry at Ms. Roe and left. Ms. Roe, needing the financial support from her work for Brooks, was petrified that her refusals would cause him to fire her. Brooks increased the frequency of his sexually charged conversations with Ms. Roe, and this included his repeated remarks about having a threesome with his wife, in which he implied that Ms. Roe would be the third person, which Brooks' wife overheard on at least one occasion, Ms. Roe believes. In or about May 2020, Brooks, while speaking to his manager, Randy, and Ms. Yearwood, directly in front of Ms. Roe, talked about inventing a shampoo bottle that would double as a dildo. When Ms. Roe became uncomfortable and would not join in the conversation, Brooks became upset and slammed both of his fists onto the kitchen countertop so forcefully that items were tossed around, and he leaned in towards Ms. Roe and spoke in a threatening manner to her. Following this incident, she was so upset that Ms. Roe sent a text to Brooks. I have thought a lot about the conversation of last Monday. I can't work in an environment where explicit sexual comments are made about shampoo bottles doubling as dildos. I mean you no harm, and if you truly value my work, I am happy to show up tomorrow and or whenever you may need my services. 94. After sending the text, she wrote him an email with the same content and copied Ms. Yearwood on that email. 95. Additionally, during phone conversations in 2020, Brooks said, inter alia, the following to Ms. Roe. After she told Brooks that she was upset, he told his wife that Ms. Roe had seen his penis. Brooks tried to minimize what was said and said, "Oh, sweetheart, for one, I think I know Trisha pretty well and she wasn't uncomfortable. And I said you saw my stuff. That was it. We were talking about something and it just came up. Look, I'm worried you are overthinking this." After the sexual assault in Los Angeles, Brooks told Ms. Rowe about a mysterious text message he received in which a person claimed that Brooks had ruined his life. In a phone conversation about this text, Brooks said he had no idea who had texted him the message and suggested that he thought it was Ms. Rowe's husband who had sent the text and tried to get her to reveal her husband's phone number. Brooks told Ms. Rowe, "I never want to hurt anybody so that one," the mysterious text, "it bothered me. It bothered me. I didn't know the number." Brooks's claim about the unknown text in which someone purportedly said he had ruined his life led to this exchange between he and Ms. Rowe. Brooks. And that killed me. It broke my heart like God. I never want to hurt anybody. So I was scared to death. And then, you know, when they called you for work and you couldn't do it for 2 months, I thought, oh crap. That's what I thought. Oh crap. So I was trying to seek you out to come talk or whatever I needed to do, but just I don't want to hurt anybody, man, and I just felt bad. 98. Ms. Rowe said over the phone to Brooks, "I want to make sure that even though I've told you no, that you're cool with no. I mean no, as in no fooling around like we had done. You are cool with that, right?" Ms. Rowe also said, "When I saw you at the redacted name of event, when you were doing the redacted event, you were pretty upset with me." Brooks replied, "No, I would never be upset with you. Look at it this way, okay? Look at it. The best way I can explain it is, me and you broke into a jewelry store, and the second we broke the door, we looked at each other and said, this isn't right. But we already had broken the door. And so, I think me and you get out and run and just hope that nobody ever finds out and just love one another and be friends. Is that fair?" In his abusive Mississippi action, Brooks says Ms. Rowe falsely accused him of sexual misconduct. He will not be able to explain why he told her in 2020, "I work with the best, and I don't want to do something stupid that breaks this team up. So I will do whatever I need to do or do whatever I don't need to do. But I just want to keep working with you. But if you feel weird working with me, it's fine. We don't have to work together." In response, Ms. Rowe said, "I've never found myself in a situation that is, I just don't know that I'm going to be able to look up from, and I am a little frightened of you. I really am." Brooks said, "Sweet baby, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine. That makes me frightened of you." In this phone conversation, Ms. Rowe explains that it would be difficult to work with Brooks again, to which Brooks said, "I am asking you to work together forever, and you have a place here as long as you want it. I'm lucky to have you. I don't want this to go anywhere. And I don't want something that happened in the moment to screw the whole 20 years I've known you. Brooks further said to Ms. Roe, I love you to death, honey. I don't ever want to see you hurt or cry or want or need for anything. If you are down physically, if you need income, please let me know. I want to help. If this situation happened a year ago, before me and you did anything silly with each other, the answer would have been the same. Yes, let me help. I'm so sorry that we crossed a line. I don't want to hurt anybody. I really don't. In addition to phone calls, there were multiple text exchanges between Brooks and Ms. Rowe with sexually explicit content. Again, showing that Brooks knew exactly what he has done to her. One day in 2020, when she was on site at a studio to style Brooks' hair and do his makeup, he took her phone and deleted most of the text messages that he had sent to her. Brooks uses more than one cell phone and sometimes would use different names and email addresses to communicate with Ms. Rowe. He would tell Ms. Rowe ahead of time that it would be him sending her communications under a different name. For example, in 2019, he texted her to use a certain email address with a woman's name. It will come back to you as woman's first name, woman's last name, but that is me. Smiley face emoji. Although Brooks thought he deleted everything on Ms. Rowe's phone, he did not, and some texts remain, including those in which he encouraged Ms. Rowe to speak in a sexualized manner to him, such as this message referring to his huge stick. Based on the information set forth above, which is a sampling of some, but not all, of the acts Brooks subjected her to, it is obvious why he resorted to such a drastic measure as filing the abusive Mississippi action. Brooks is desperate to prevent his millions of fans from learning about the horrific things he has said and done to a junior female employee who did nothing to deserve such treatment. Fortunately, Brooks is not entitled to misuse legal statutes, such as the Declaratory Judgment Act, to further harm Ms. Rowe. Ms. Rowe's agency as a survivor and her ability to hold Brooks accountable for his predatory behavior should not be thwarted by the preemptive, abusive Mississippi action. While Ms. Rowe has been victimized again by Brooks, she commenced this action to hold him accountable. First cause of action: assault. Ms. Rowe incorporates herein, by reference, as though set forth in full, all preceding paragraphs of this complaint. Brooks intentionally, and without consent, caused harmful or offensive contact with Ms. Rowe, including by intentionally bringing her to California for work in 2019 and purposefully isolating her from other employees. Brooks ensured ahead of time that he would force Ms. Rowe to share a hotel suite with him, where, as detailed above, he subjected her to unwanted sexual intercourse and sexually assaulted and raped her for his own sexual gratification. As a result, Ms. Rowe has suffered and will continue to suffer mental and physical pain and suffering. Second cause of action: sexual battery. Ms. Rowe incorporates herein by reference, as though set forth in full, all preceding paragraphs of this complaint. Brooks committed a battery against plaintiff when he engaged in unlawful, intentional, and offensive touching or application of force to plaintiff's person when he forced her to engage in sex against her will. Brooks ensured ahead of time that he would force Ms. Rowe to share a hotel suite with him where she was isolated and defenseless. Brooks held her by her ankles upside down, restricting her ability to move or fight back in any manner. Brooks penetrated her vagina with his penis and subjected her to forced oral sex against her will. Brooks did this for his own sexual gratification. Plaintiff did not act freely and voluntarily, and the actions were against plaintiff's will, as defined in California. Penal Code Section 243.4. Brooks knew that he was subjecting her to pain and trauma, as detailed above. Additionally, defendant Brooks committed a rape against plaintiff, as defined in California. Penal Code 261. Plaintiff also was incapable of resisting because of Brooks' sheer physical size and strength as compared to Ms. Roe. As a result of defendant's alleged conduct, plaintiff has suffered severe physical harm, emotional distress, humiliation, embarrassment, anxiety, economic harm, and other consequential damages. The conduct of defendant Brooks described above was willful, wanton, and malicious. At all relevant times, defendant acted with conscious disregard of plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that his conduct was certain to cause injury and or humiliation to plaintiff, and intended to and did cause fear, physical injury and or pain and suffering to plaintiff. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive and exemplary damages from defendant, according to proof at trial. Third cause of action, sexual battery, refer to second cause of action. Fourth cause of action, BANE. Ms. Roe incorporates herein by reference, as though outlined in full, all preceding paragraphs of this complaint. At all relevant times herein, Brooks interfered or attempted to interfere by threat, intimidation, or coercion, and by physical force, with Ms. Roe's exercise or enjoyment of her right to be free from sexual assault and sex discrimination, as secured by the laws of California. As a result, Ms. Roe has suffered and will continue to suffer mental and physical pain and suffering. Fifth cause of action, Ralph Act. Ms. Roe incorporates herein by reference, as though set forth in full, all preceding paragraphs of this complaint. At all relevant times herein and on May 11th, 2019, Brooks committed a violent act against Ms. Roe, motivated by her sex, by penetrating her vagina with his penis without her consent, in that he would not and could not have committed the same violence against a man, and that violent act was a substantial factor in the resulting physical and mental harm suffered by Ms. Roe Will. Defendant Brooks committed a rape against plaintiff, as defined in California Penal Code. Defendant Brooks also intentionally subjected her to unwanted oral sex against Brooks, further subjected Ms. Roe to unwanted forced sexual groping, touching, squeezing of her breasts, and forced exposure of her breasts to him for his sexual gratification, including on the 5-day trip to Los Angeles beginning on October 28, 2019. Sixth cause of action, gender violence, California. Civ Code Section 52.4 C2. See second cause of action. At this time, we do not know how this case will proceed, but should anything new come out, I will update you. Thank you for turning in. Garth Brooks filed a lawsuit before Jane Roe filed. This lawsuit was filed on September 13th, 2024. This court has subject matter jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C. Section 1332, because complete diversity of citizenship exists between the parties, and the amount in controversy exceeds the sum of $75,000 exclusive of interest and costs. Venue is proper under 28 U.S.C. Section 1391 because defendant resides in this judicial district and division. Facts. Plaintiff is a celebrity and public figure who resides in Tennessee. Sixth defendant worked professionally with plaintiff as an independent contractor for approximately... I was downstairs making concrete, sorry. So it was just repeating itself again. So what do we think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? He's guilty. He's innocent. She's looking for money. What? That's true. You think she just wants the money? Why does it sound like a book my mother used to read? Shut up. That's crazy. Yeah, I would need to see the text too. I only saw one partial and it was odd, but okay. Pretty specific. Yeah. Yeah. Very, 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 very specific. It's depressing. I mean, it is if it's true. Now, here's the thing, okay? Not all assault victims come forward, clearly, right? Because of money or fear or whatever. Hold on, my son. One sec. So they don't always come forward, right? So then there's no DNA. Making concrete candles. Making my candles. So if they don't come forward, then what? What do you do? What do you do? How can you prove anything, right? And because, the courts require proof for murder, for rape, for this, for that. We've seen, I mean, the stories I've been doing, there have been people put away for rape. It wasn't them. Right, exactly. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, wanting money doesn't mean that it's not true. I mean, it totally could be true, right? And it totally could be false. How do you prove it? So I guess if there was one text message that I saw, let me show you guys, and then you tell me what you think about this because it was weird. And I'm like, what? Okay. Where is it? All right, it's right here. Let me share this with you guys so that you can see it. Save image, Garth. Let me open it up. And this does, I mean, it doesn't make her look good because let me show you. Okay, do you see it? So it says warm fact and that huge stick you carry, Roosevelt. So Roosevelt. And then he says, I'll take that nickname, laughing face hearts. Thank you. I love you. So if he was sending her graphic texts like I just read, right? I read where she said that he was sending her a graphic text about his big stick that he carries, right? Well, here it is. And it says, and that huge stick you carry. It doesn't say that huge stick that I carry. So I don't know. I don't know. It's very odd. The whole thing's odd, but because we think we know him, but we don't know him. You know what I mean? Like we don't know Garth Brooks. We only know what he shows us or what we see with the charity stuff or interviews, right? But I don't know. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Now that it's public, she lost leverage in negotiating. So in July, he said he received a letter saying that unless he settled with her, she was going to go public with a lawsuit. And he said, that's extortion. You're not getting shit. And then they got another letter in August, and he filed himself in September, and then she filed in October. So that doesn't sound like a response if he raped her, unless she was trying to get him to admit something in a text. True. An upstanding boss would have fired her immediately for this conduct. The fact that he replies, I'll take that nickname, thank you. Yeah, I agree with that, Pine Needle, that they were clearly in some type of 1, flirtatious, 2, romantic, 3, sexual, 4, forced. One of those. They were in some type of situation here. Clearly. I don't know, but sounds like a fling. Somebody got upset. I mean, that's also possible. I would want, if my husband's employee texted him and that huge stick you carry, Roosevelt. I mean, I don't know what the Roosevelt part is, but whatever. I would ask him right away, like, what does stick mean? Like, you carry what big stick? What the fuck does that even mean? And if it was sexually based, I'd be like, you got to fire her. You can't keep her around. Like, that's that on that. But if they also had a very joking relationship, I don't know. Like, if they've known each other 20 years and they just joke around, I don't know. This is fucking crazy. This whole thing's crazy. Sounds like she liked it until she didn't. Oh, cat's eye, Lord. I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like it's ugh, what a nasty, terrible situation. I mean, it really is a bad ass situation. So, I mean, he replied. He did reply. He did come out with his own lawsuit, and he literally was not going. He's like, nope, absolutely not. Let me see. He filed John Doe first. And in his lawsuit, ouch, let me see. He says, I mean, I read it on here. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Okay. September 13th. This is his right here, okay? Plaintiff is an adult resident citizen, see why I need my AI, of Tennessee. Plaintiff brings this action under the pseudonym John Doe to avoid the harm to reputation that he seeks to prevent through this action. Plaintiff will disclose his identity. Let me just share this with you guys so you can see it yourself. I just want the document. Okay, can I just have the document? How about that? Will that work for you? Everything's going to be so difficult. Oh, geez, I really hit that a couple of times. I hit that too many times. Hold on. All right, let me share this so you guys can see it. All right. So we know who he is. Okay. Defendant is an adult run. She is an adult resident of Mississippi. She uses the name Jane Roe. The court has subject matter on this because it exceeds $75,000. All right. Plaintiff is a celebrity and public figure who resides in Tennessee. Defendant worked professionally with the plaintiff as an independent contractor for 15 years before she relocated from Tennessee to Mississippi in May of 2020. Soon after moving, she apparently encountered financial difficulties and asked Garth for some financial assistance. Garth complied out of loyalty, friendship, and a desire to improve her condition. But her demands for financial assistance only increased, with with her ultimately asking him for a salaried employment position and benefits. When he said he could not agree to the demands for a salaried employment and medical benefits, she replied with false and outrageous allegations of sexual misconduct she claims occurred years ago. Specifically, on July 17th, 2024, an attorney acting at the defendant's direction sent the plaintiff and others with whom plaintiff professionally works a confidential demand letter alleging a litany of sexual misconduct by the plaintiff, ranging from allegations of sexual grooming creation of a sexual grooming, creation of a sexually hostile work environment, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual assault. Defendant, hold on. So here's the thing, right? The July letter comes to Garth. Well, before that, in 2020, she moves. May of 2020, she leaves Tennessee. She goes to Mississippi. She calls Garth and Trisha and says she's having financial problems. He gives her some money. She asked for more money, then asked for a salaried position and medical benefits. He says he can't do that. So she replies with this stuff, allegedly. She says in a statement from an attorney working for her that he did all of these things. She also alleged that Garth planned to hire someone to murder her, which is crazy. The July 17th demand letter was the first time plaintiff learned of these allegations, none of which have any basis in fact. She threatened in the July 17th demand letter to publicly file an enclosed draft civil complaint against him, repeating the same fabricated allegations unless he agreed to pay millions of dollars not to file the suit. The letter referred to various celebrity sexual misconduct lawsuits, featuring multi-million-dollar jury awards. In another letter, August 23rd, 2024, she, through her attorney, offered to refrain from publicly filing her false and defamatory lawsuit against him in exchange for a multi-million-dollar payment. She threatened that if he failed to meet this demand, he would face exposure of many millions of dollars based off his net worth. Her allegations are not true. She is well aware, however, of the substantial irreparable damage such a false allegation would do. Ugh. So, she threatened to file the lawsuit through a confidential demand letter rather than simply filing a suit, right? So that's his point in this, saying, okay, if all of this happened, why are you sending me these, secret letters, these confidential letters, instead of just going and filing? All right. So he believes she's trying to assassinate his character. Defendant has defamed plaintiff by intentionally publishing her July 17th letter and enclosed draft complaint containing these false allegations. So publishing them, she intentionally published these statements to others with knowledge that these statements were false and defamatory. Defendant's publication of these defamatory statements was not privileged, but was made with malice, ill will, and for the improper use of extorting an unwarranted payment from Garth. So what do you think of that? What do you think of that then? Yeah, well, if you rewind, make sure you don't let Mike hear you listening, because this is very this is terrible. This is terrible. How do we know that though, Thunder? I don't know that to be true. I don't know. Is it true? I don't know. So you ask your abuser for help, right? I don't know. Hey, Dick Tim. Right. Okay. Okay. So Roosevelt's saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know. So I don't know. This is crazy. So he is suing her. So he filed a suit. She filed a suit a month later. So I guess when she got served her suit, she also filed a suit, which, what does that say? Does that say anything? Because he says he demands a trial by jury. So, oh, gavel. Oh, gavel. Oh my God. Even I blushed, and you know my filthy mouth. And I was like, oh Lord, no. No, ma'am. So I don't know. He filed first. She threatened to file twice. She didn't. And he did. So what does that mean? I don't know that it means anything. I think it actually shows she was trying to protect his reputation. She tried to get him to stop via text. He wouldn't. She was in a pickle. If she left, well, she did leave. She left 4 years ago. She left in 2020, and she'd been gone. She came to him for money in 2020, and he gave her money. Then she kept asking for more money and ultimately asked for a salaried position with health benefits. So she was willing to go to work for him on a salaried basis after all of that she alleges he did, holding her upside down by her ankles, raping her, doing all the things. I don't know. That is really difficult to believe. That's really difficult. I don't know. Ugh. Hey, Trevor. Just, Trevor, unless you're prepared, I don't know if you should rewind, friend, because it's rough. It is rough. I need to see proof from both sides. I can't put stock in he said, she said. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. It was so good. Oh, shut up. You guys were at the same concert. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. And by the way, just to shout out Trevor, he has been working his ass off to help all of the people affected by Hurricane Helene. Just driving all over the planet, doing all the things. So thank you for that, Trevor. You are doing stuff that many of us wish we could and can't. So, something does not sit right. Oh, Patty, were you there too? Patty was like, I was there too. We were all there. Everybody was there. I definitely wasn't there. I've never seen Garth, but I am going to see Cast and Crowns on Thursday. So there's that. Me too, Patty. Me too. He's been really Nana for Life's family's been out there. I can't say enough about these people who, they run into the storms instead of running away from them. So, Patty, for real or for fake? I don't know. Fun fact, I don't care. He sang it good. It could be Bama. That's what I'm wondering because people are like, oh, yeah, he's always been a scumbag and, T-shirt, where'd you hide the bodies? And Garth, and you're this and that and all the things. Well, let's see. There've got to be more people out there if that's true. And hopefully they will come forward. 2020 was COVID, so concerts, appearances, keep that in mind when reading these docs. Well, she didn't say anything. He didn't say anything about concert. He said that in May of 2020, she moved and asked him for money. No, we're not too kind. You being out there doing all those things it's a lot. Watching you guys I don't know how you're doing it. To see the things that are going on out there, it's just absolutely horrible. Yeah, there's a new one coming in. Say if you're the praying kind, say a little prayer for those people. I know White Boy is in the path of the storm as well. So, yeah, Mimi's kids, it's a lot. My children are approximately 1 mile from the river in Newport. Oh my goodness. Yeah, at work, I had to do some shipping down to Mecklenburg County. I don't know how to say it, but a few of the shipments were late, and my company is from Boston. I got some calls this morning. Like, where are these materials? I'm like, some places don't have fucking roads. I don't know. There's nothing I can do here. North Carolina. Yeah. The west side over there is just Asheville. Asheville's such a beautiful place, and it's just I have a friend named Kissa, and she lives in Asheville, and I heard that it's just the pictures are enough of what we're seeing. It's fucking shocking. So the serial killer thing seems odd. What's serial killer thing? What, the Goths? Get the fuck out of here. Garth is not a serial killer. My God. I hate these stupid conspiracy theories. Can they cut it out, please? My God. I hope he didn't even do this. I started reading it today and I was like, oh my God. Can you not? So aggravating. Garth Brooks murder conspiracy theories explained. Please do. Can you imagine if y'all don't get the hell out of here with this nonsense? I will beat you. Mm-mm. No, I won't have it either because I love him too much and I don't want any of this to be true, but it could be true. So what do you do? I don't know. All right. So here's some people. Okay. Got this back in the car now. I know. know, I do love conspiracy theories. I don't love conspiracy theories about my friend in a low place, though. Mother shit. All right, so this is what it says. Last podcast on the left. So I was researching the Garth Brooks is a serial killer rumor started by Tom Segura, and I found these videos about Tom possibly being a serial killer himself. I can't. I hate everybody. Stop it right this minute. Why, guys? Why? I don't know. Now I gotta. Do I really? Do I? Do we have to go into this? Clearly, we do. All right? Okay. But the case is about Tom. It would be interesting if it's indeed true. And he was okay. Here's a trip. Also, he was killed. Let's go, blah, blah. All right. Shut up right now. So I may be going crazy here, guys, but if you compare the list of dates when the Lady Bird Lake bodies were found with Tom Segura's touring schedule, he had time off for every single fucking one of them. Where was he during these times? Was he in Austin? The only one that clashes with his location is the body found April 15th, 2023, because he was in Norway. However, the body was sighted days earlier, and his family hadn't seen him since April 9th. Dun, dun, dun. I do love a good conspiracy theory, though. Ted Cruz is the serial killer. Stop. So is it safe to assume Taylor Swift's father is also a serial killer? Yes, it is. Sure, why not? So I don't know. I hate all of this. Okay, let's see. Now I gotta see. Mm, your mom's house. 5 Pine Needles. Is it? Well, okay, so I'm playing this and you guys aren't even fucking telling me that you don't even hear it. You know what? I'm not playing this for you people. Nope, you little bastards. Like, how are you not fucking telling me you couldn't hear? You know what? Devil, asshole. Forget it now. I'm watching the whole thing and nobody's saying a word. Like, we can't hear it chasing. Oh, it's a little late for that now, isn't it, Jenny? Oh, by the way, we can't hear none of this. Oh, by the way, who the fuck? What are you watching by yourself while you have people here? Nothing, just a little of this and a little of that. All right. Can't stand you people sometimes. All right. We're going to read this article on my friend Garth here, and then we're done. Okay? Because You little bastards. Okay, let's see. Garth Brooks keeps getting accused of being a serial killer. I only heard that since this come out. I didn't even know this was a thing. It's so weird to me. Just when you thought social media couldn't get any dumber. All right, I already like this article. Twitter is now X, and people won't stop claiming Garth Brooks is a serial killer. Okay, there are people having sex in this condom commercial here. Over on the dumpster fire that is Elon Musk's platform. Yep, you read that right. The country superstar is being called a serial killer over there. Why? Why? Brooks has found himself in the middle of a controversy lately, daring to suggest he might serve Bud Light in his new Nashville bar and having the gall to ask his fans to support refugees in the Ukraine. But this is clearly more serious, and it apparently predates all of that. How did we get here? Well, according to multiple reports, it all began with comedian Tom Segura and Brooks' 2018 concert tour announcement. At the end of the video, Brooks says, "Let's get physical playing music," with a smile. Segura then reportedly joked that Brooks looked like he has killed multiple people before. It has grown legs and taken off from there, with a conspiracy that his tour dates coincide with multiple missing people reports. Ooh, okay. That has led fans of Segura to show up in Brooks' post to ask, "Where are the bodies, Garth?" Many people, it seems, are in on the joke. But there are other people who genuinely and unbelievably seem to believe there are facts behind this. Okay. Garth Brooks is a literal serial killer, Michael. The families deserve closure. Okay. Garth Brooks might be a serial killer. Why would anybody want to be a serial killer? Where are the bodies? Garth is a serial killer. Okay. Okay. Again, there are no facts. Zero. Brooks has killed anybody. Segura recently told comedian Theo Vaughn on his podcast that Brooks has blocked him on Instagram. Well, I wonder why, asshole. It was probably overdue considering the beating the guy is taking on social media around this one. Again, there are no facts. Zero, zip, nada, nothing. Nothing, zero. You loonies. Why? Why do they gotta fuck around with why? Nail got no. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm intense liar. Liar. A lying little liar. Garth is the Zodiac killer. I can't stand you people. No, I don't even know. I don't even know who this is. What is happening there? Now I got to look that up. Oh my gosh, we're going down a rabbit hole. Okay. All right, Neil. Come on. An English author, short fiction novels, comic books, audio, screenplays. Okay. The Sandman. What? Oh. Neil's screen adaptations halted after allegations of sexual misconduct. 3 screen adaptations of Neil's work have been canceled or had their production paused amid reports accusing the author of Coraline and the Sandman of sexual misconduct. Come on. Why? What are they saying he did? Oh my God. Huh. Okay, let's see. Oh, he'd been canceled. They said canceled. Okay, let's see. Tortoise Media. So he is a nanny. He's denying everything. I mean, everybody denies it, right? They all say, "No, this is all a lie. I didn't do any of these things." Right? I mean, not You don't just come out and say, yeah, I did that. An investigation by Tortoise Media reported allegations by 2 women of sexual misconduct against Gaiman, including sexual abuse and coercive behavior. Denied he's only engaged in consensual acts. Identified by the initial K, penetrated without consent. He denies. Okay. Caroline Wallner, sex in return for letting her live at his property in New York. Ooh, non-disclosure agreement. Okay. Oh boy, this doesn't look like it's going to be good. It looks a little like Howard Stern. So, wait. All right. So this says he's been accused of sexual assault by 2 women that he was in consensual relationships with. Huh? New Zealand police says it made a number of attempts to speak to key people as part of this investigation, and those efforts remain ongoing. Okay. Tortoise's podcast master. The 4-part series, rough, degrading sex, not always consensual. Oh, okay. So not always. So sometimes, but not all the time. What? I mean, not the author of Coraline, for mother's sakes. Like, why? What is really wrong with all these people? What is going on? Kay was 18 when she met him at a book signing. She began a romantic relationship with him when she turned 20. He was in his mid-40s, but alleges she submitted to rough and painful sex that she neither wanted nor enjoyed. She submitted to... What? What is really going on here? Allegedly nasty. Allegedly, yes. I don't know. There's so many things. There's so many things happening in the world. I mean, we got P. Diddy and all of his baby oil and all the things that he's done allegedly. You know, then you have Jaguar Wright, and if she was even semi-normal, maybe somebody would listen to her about Jay-Z, but she's wild. So people just aren't going to listen because she seems batshit crazy. So there's that. All right. I did want to keep this just to the reading of Aussie Trish. Be careful if you rewind. This was a very foul stream. I wanted to just keep it to the thing, so I may cut some out of it and put it back up. I don't know, but either way, I really want to cover the Menendez brothers. And I don't know if people will be interested in that, but I'm going to listen to the rest of the trial because we don't have Sarah Boone this entire week. And Leilani Simon's trial will not be televised. It won't be streamed anywhere. So what are we going to do with ourselves? If they're getting a hearing in November, I think we should listen to it. But that might just be me. Maybe you people are not interested in what happens to the Menendez brothers. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a poll. Yeah, you may not want to listen to this one. It's, yeah, that's a good conclusion, Gemini. This one was foul, really foul. So, okay, I love you guys. I will talk to you later. I'm going to put a poll on my wall.